I'm standing right here by the stones that made the dock of the inner harbor of Caesarea. You can see the vaults, which are part of the loading of the boats. But the reason we're here is because in Paul's day, you can see there was a temple up there to Augustus, and those vaults were like this. On the right, that's what it looks like today. But it was from right here that the Apostle Paul sailed off on his missionary journeys. Paul sailed off from this spot into the Mediterranean, and as he went, he was going after 14 years of preparation. That's 7 years in Tarsus, about 2.5 years or 3 in the Arabian desert, and then several years in Antioch under Barnabas's tutelage. Now this is all silted in and it's a green grass, and behind that palm tree is the ocean. But the lesson from right here that I always want to remind myself of is that the Apostle Paul prepared for more than a decade in order to serve for about a decade in intense 3 missionary journeys, and then the final decade of his life, and you could divide Paul's life into 3 almost equal sized pieces: a decade plus of prep, a decade of intense missionary journey, and then a decade of waiting. Paul was confined most of the time. He was in jail. It's amazing to think of God's timetable. It's so different than ours. Before Paul left on his very first missionary journey, he spent more than 10 years getting ready. God wanted him ready to serve. And then Paul served with all his heart, but then he was willing to be set aside, and he just waited. He was confined. He was in jail, in prison, under guard with chains. We're in such a hurry. And God says, wait, wait, wait. That's what we need to learn, the lesson. Get all the preparation you can get, serve with all your heart wherever you are, and be willing to wait for whatever the Lord has. So right here again, this is the dock. I'm standing in what would have been the port of Caesarea Maritima, Paul's time. This bunch of rocks, the flat rocks in front of me, were the edge of the dock. And the ships would have come right up to this edge right here. And Paul stepped right here from this dock onto the boats. He went to Tarsus, he went on his missionary journeys, then he returned here. This is where he returned, saw Philip and the evangelist from Acts chapter 8 and his daughters, and then he went up to Jerusalem. And this is where, after he was captured by the crowd and beaten, he was brought back here for over 2 years, and probably right over underneath those palm trees there, he wrote in the Praetorium the prison epistles. All that from right here in Caesarea on this beautiful, warm, sunny day on the